sense. Dan, from your perspective, I mean, you know, in your career, you've worked with a lot of big brands. You know, I'm going to bring in the question from the audience here. You know, the big are getting bigger. You know, the small guys are struggling a bit more. What, you know, is there, you know, what's your, you know, from your experience, you know, is there anything that smaller businesses can take from the bigger businesses at all in terms of learning?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the things that the more successful, bigger brands have managed to accomplish to be successful in this environment is this adaptability, this agility, this, you know, large companies have a disadvantage sometimes in that to make any decision, there's a lot of analysis, there's a lot of meetings, there's a lot of, you know, consensus building, right? So I'll give an example. A friend of mine who's on the C-suite at a major grocer, they had never adopted Instacart or anything like it, and they had done all kinds of analysis and you know NPV analysis and what's the impact on the customer and everybody, you know, and then had a lot of meetings and had to take into account everyone's opinions and just couldn't get agreement. As soon as COVID struck, you're like, there was no discussion. They just said, okay, we're turning on Instacart in as many stores as possible because we need to be able to get groceries to people without them having to come into the store, right? I think that is something that, you know, Target has done. That's something Walmart's done. That's something Amazon's done. Just being able to adapt and kind of go against their usual consensus-driven layers and chains of command before anything gets decided. Smaller businesses have an advantage in that they already have that agility built in, right? Their challenge is very different in that they generally are not top of mind and they're generally not automatic. They don't have a captive web traffic, right? And Amazon, Target, Walmart is going to have a captive web audience. I think I'll give an example of a smaller regional business that I think has done a great job pivoting, and we can, I think, take some learnings from that. One is it's a company, they didn't used to be a retailer. They were a distributor, a restaurant supplier who, as soon as restaurants closed in Massachusetts, they started offering home delivery of restaurant supplies, right? So immediately, instead of having to either go to the grocery store when we were told to stay at home or try and get an Amazon Prime grocery delivery 2 weeks out or whatever, my wife started ordering from this company, right? And she was delighted because she's a bit of a culinary, you know, she loves to cook, and she was really excited.
And Dan, this is food. This is
food. Okay, so I'm just taking this as an example. This company never before was even allowed to sell direct to consumer. They immediately turned on the ability to sell direct to consumer, and they're doing great despite the fact that restaurants are closed. I think local retailers that get creative and really work with, in particular, I'd recommend working, depending on how, if you truly are small and local, work with the local community, the town, the mayor in your town, for example. So another example would be restaurants that are actually doing well right now are those that instead of trying to rely on their traditional business, whether it's dining in or even takeout, doing events, right? So for example, tomorrow night, we're having dinner at one of our local barbecues. They're hosting outdoors together with a local baker. So partnerships are really good. So local partnerships between businesses and with municipal leaders can be really effective. So you can bring people together in an outdoor space so everyone feels safe, create distance, right? So as a clothing retailer, I think I see smaller clothing mom and pop retailers. One thing you could do is think about creating almost like almost like a fair environment, right? In the town square.
As Chris mentioned, using your outdoor space as a billboard.
Exactly, right? There's so much outdoor space, and mayors are wanting to know, how do we create things for our people in our town to do, right? Because everyone's stuck at home. People want to get out, but they don't want to go to a store. They don't want to go to the mall. Use the outdoor space. Partner with another local business, whether it's a restaurant or another retailer, maybe in a complementary category, right? Use outdoor space. I think that being creative, and these are just examples, right? You can probably come up with much better ones, but being creative and thinking outside of your normal business model can be huge in this time, and people appreciate it. And I actually believe that if you do something differentiating like that, that's memorable and creates an experience, right, for your community, that will pay itself back in terms of loyalty, right? So I would think about that. How do you use the local community more than you have traditionally? Now that you don't get foot traffic in the store, how do you go to your consumer so they don't have to come to you?